Hello and welcome to the Crumbs Magazine podcast, the food and drink show for home cooks, restaurant lovers and basically anyone who loves filling their face.
Hosted by Jessica Carter and Dan Izzard, each episode is packed with news, trends and insider knowledge from the Southwest and beyond to help us all make the most of our local food and drink scene.
So this episode is something of a Crumbs Awards special, with the ceremony having taken place last weekend. So we'll be speaking to awards judge, Bake Off semi-finalists and all-round wonderful Bristolian, Briony May, and the hilarious host of the event, Mark Olver.
Before we get into all that though, it has been a while, so shall we catch up on some news?
Yes, so the observant among Bristolians will have noticed that Arts House Cafe on Stokes Croft has had a bit of a transformation. That red facade has changed into a nice midnight blue and the new name of Caper and Cure. It's been painted above the door in a nice gold. It's very fancy. The owners are the same though. They are front of house pro Giles Coram, who is also an actor, by the way, fun fact.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he always kind of nips off from the business to go and do the odd play.
Does he have an IMDb page, do you reckon?
Oh, I definitely going to Google that after this. And Chef Craig Summers, and they both met working at Wolfish. Took over Arts House, I think, about a couple of years ago. The food is still like really similar in concept, so you know, don't fear if you were a fan of it before. Really great brunches and really imaginative, elegant, and seasonal dinners, which are really, really great value. I went recently and had the Hispy with anchovy, which was on the money. Give it a go.
Earlier this week, I went along to the new Bristol and Bath rum distillery, which has opened on Park Street in the former Jamie's Italian. So at the opening, it was a big event actually. They had lights and fireworks, and it was absolutely rammed. First impressions, it's absolutely massive. I mean, there are 3 floors, 3 bars, and a rum school with 46 individual mini stills. So you'll be able to learn about the rum making process and then take home your own bottle, full pirate mode. The rum distilled on site is a brand from Cornwall, which you might have seen, called Dead Man's Fingers, with a skull on the bottle. And they specialise in the spiced rum, which they're going to be making on site. But they also have quite an interesting hemp rum, which I got to try.
Tell me what it tasted like, please.
It was like kind of earthy, and it was kind of smoother than a normal rum. So I think it's going to appeal to a lot of people, actually, not just a novelty.
Yeah, do you think that people maybe, because I'm not a massive rum drinker, do you reckon it's still worth checking out? Do you reckon they have some interesting rums that...
Yeah, they had quite a nice cocktail list actually, and there are people drinking out of kind of champagne flutes with the cocktails, with some lighter rums, and then also they had other drinks as well, but I think it's a really good place to go. And if you don't normally drink rum, there's 5, 6, 7 different kind of takes on rum cocktails on the menu. So definitely want to check out.
Really challenge your dislike of rum, can't you?
Yeah. Well, don't hate the haters. Hate the rum either. While I was there, I managed to sneak into the barrel aging room, and it smells amazing. I don't think I've ever been to a bar that has its own barrel aging room. They've got a mission to stock a bottle from every rum-producing nation. So
what are the rum-producing nations, Dan?
Well, you've got the big ones, obviously, which I don't need to name, and then all the other ones too. But my favourite is Flor de Caña, which is from Nicaragua, where I went on my gap year.
Oh, fancy. Somewhere I haven't been yet, actually, but that is definitely on my hit list, is number 12 Eastern for their new evening pop-ups. So David Hazel, who most recently headed up the kitchen at the Michelin-starred Paco Tapas, has launched his own outfit, which is currently in residence there at the Eastern Cafe. The menu's all about vegan-friendly Spanish tapas, so it's a really nice twist on the popular tapas style. And there's a fitting range of wines and sherries on offer alongside that, chosen by Maddie, who owns the cafe and who used to work as a wine buyer, so she really knows her vino. If you have not managed to make it down yet, like me, then the pop-up is running Tuesday to Saturday each week. And it's going to be going on at least until the end of the year, likely a couple of weeks into the new year. So that's good news. We've got plenty of time.
That is a really good one, actually, to try some quality tapas. You know, someone who's worked at Paco is going to bring out the big plates.
Definitely, it's going to be on the money, I think.
For those who haven't already spied, we've launched a brand new website this week. Woo!
Hurrah!
Yeah. It's
The crowd applause.
Just you can't see this now, but the whole office is like giving us a standing ovation. It's got the same great content as before, which is lots of snippets from the magazines, and plenty of original features, reviews, and news, which will keep it topped up with all the latest goings on, video interviews, competitions, and of course this podcast. It's live now, but we'll be adding loads of new features over the coming weeks and months, and we'd love for you to check it out at crumbsmag.com and let us know what you think.
Okay, let's crack on with the awards then. A bit of a special night, wasn't it?
It was big, and it was a lot of fun. I think it was our best yet by a long way, and it was really nice to see that all the winners were so excited to be picking up those trophies. I won't list them all individually now, but they are all over on the website along with some pretty animated photos, so go check those out.
Yeah, the next issue of the mag as well, there's a massive feature introducing kind of all the winners, getting to know their businesses a bit more too, so check that out. I caught up with Briony May, who was one of the fantastic Crumbs Awards judges. And while I'm on the subject, actually, I just want to big up all of our judges, of which there were 9 this year. There is a ton of work involved in the process. So much reading, loads of excursions to visit the finalists, and then a day of really hardcore, rigorous collective decision making, which quite frankly, I am so pleased to not have to be involved with. It's really not an easy task. Thank you so much to all of our awesome judges, of which the lineup as well was pretty stellar. I popped over to Briony's and she spoke about, all the work that went into the process, as well as highlights from the winners list and her 8-hour stint of partying for the occasion. And obviously I couldn't not do some bake-off interrogation while I was there too.
Yay!
Okay, Briony.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Have you recovered from Sunday night?
Oh my god, as you can tell by my voice, not really, no. Like, I'm still very husky. What a night. What a night.
Oh, good. Well, that's a sign of a good night, right?
Absolutely. No, it was such a good night. It was brilliant. I don't think I got in till about 3:30.
Excellent news. Excellent news. Was it kind of what you expected, or?
Yeah, I think it was more than what I expected. It was just such a celebration of all things, foodie in Bristol and Bath. It was brilliant. It was so well done, and everyone had such a good time, and obviously all the winners were just so happy. It was lovely.
Okay, so you're Bristol born and bred, aren't you?
I am Bristol girl, yeah.
Excellent. Whereabouts are you from originally in Bristol?
So I grew up in Westbury-on-Trim, sort of Henbury way. And then I live in Hallfield now. So, yeah, I love Bristol. I always thought I'd have to move away because it's my hometown. You kind of get this feeling like I shouldn't live in my hometown or whatever, but I just love it so much. And it just gets better every year.
When there's no reason to leave, it's just, it's too tricky, isn't
it? Absolutely.
And so I guess you've seen Bristol's kind of food landscape change quite a lot then, seeing as you've lived here for so long.
Yeah, hugely, because I went away to university in Durham. But that was back, sort of, I came back about 2007. So in the last decade, it's just completely changed. Like, it's really become a hub for foodies. So for people who really enjoy good quality, reasonable, just absolutely delicious food, there's so many options now in Bristol. So many more than I remember there being when I got back from uni, 12 years ago.
So I'm sure you probably asked yourself this question during the process, but what was it about the prospect of judging the Crumbs Awards that made you kind of keen to get involved?
Well, it's just, since I've been on Bake Off, the Bristol, Bath and generally the whole of the Southwest food community has really opened up its arms to me and really welcomed me into the little community, or quite large community now. And it's just really lovely to give something back. It was a lot of reading. But it was really interesting, and it was fascinating finding out about all these different places, a lot of which I didn't know anything about.
What did you come away with after the process of judging?
So I really felt like I'd gotten to know the kind of the Southwest Bristol and Bath food scene a lot better. So there's so much you learn about places that you wouldn't know if you just bought the product or walked into the shop, the cafe or the restaurant or whatever. You really learn about the inner workings of places, and how much effort they've put into the last 12 months to try and make themselves a success. So you almost get a real sense of pride reading all these things, thinking how amazingly these companies have done. It's really awesome.
And did you kind of unearth any new businesses that you didn't know about before, or kind of any information about places that you love to go but you just didn't know how it was all working around the back end?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of places, like because a lot of the places that were on the list are places I've been or go to anyway, which was nice, kind of reaffirming, like, oh yes, they are. But the thing that really stood out for me was how environmentally aware everyone is now, and that's something that was really interesting to see. That most places, in fact, you stood out if you didn't do a lot of, as little waste management as possible, zero plastic, all this kind of stuff. Actually, the ones that stood out were the ones that weren't doing that, because everyone else is making such a huge effort to do it.
Mm. And were there any kind of standouts among the winners for you? Did you any particularly warm to anyone?
Yeah, there's a couple really for me. There's Eat Your Greens, because I've been there quite a lot anyway, and they are just such an amazing team, and their food is incredible. It's vegan, and a lot of people get, it's vegan, but oh my god, it's phenomenal. It's so full of flavour and tasty, and they're just so lovely. And Babs, who's the chef, she's the only one who cooks there. She cooks in this tiny little kitchen and produces the most amazing food. And it's almost like you go into their living room when you go and eat there. It's just something really special about it. And Stepping Stone for me were, just what they're doing for these young people with learning disabilities is just beyond incredible. And what they're making is a really high quality product. Like their lavash is delicious. So it's not like a kind of a pity win because you think, oh, they're doing such a nice thing. No, actually, they're doing this incredible thing and they're producing this amazing product. So for them to get the winner of winners, that sort of really kind of got quite emotional in that bit.
It was an awesome moment, wasn't it?
It was. When everyone stood up, it was like, oh God, this is so lovely.
And how did you kind of feel about when you kind of, after the really rigorous judging day, you kind of step back and you have this list of winners. How did that make you feel? Like, what did you think about that list of overall champs?
It was just the whole list was like just such a celebration of Bristol and Bath, and you really felt like these people really deserved it, because we did go into a really sort of in-depth discussion about everything, and it was a long process, and there were points where we didn't agree necessarily, but people could understand and be talked around and sort of see, that this person should win or that person should win. But obviously there were the standout ones that were the winners, but everyone who was a finalist had done such an incredible job and should be so proud of the fact that they were even a finalist. Yeah,
the standard was so high.
So high, yeah. I mean, I think the discussion about, I think it was best restaurant. Oh God, that discussion went on forever because there's so many good restaurants, and the cafe discussion, there's just so many amazing places out there. It's very difficult just to say there's one that's, but there are some that stand out and you think, yeah, they're amazing.
Awesome. So, I mean, not quite the same, but you're obviously quite aware of the whole process of competition and, being judged for your food. Yeah. Definitely. So let's talk about Bake Off then. You were a semi-finalist last year.
I was, yeah.
Amazing. So how was that? When did you record that?
So that was filmed between May and July 2018, and then it airs at the end of August, and you can't tell anyone. Like, other than your immediate family and friends, you can't tell people that you're on it. And it's the most fun secret ever, and you really want to just shout it from the rooftops. And then when it does come out, people are like, "Do you win? Did you win? Did you win?" And you're like, "Well, I can't tell you." No, I didn't, but I can't tell you. Yeah, prodding you. Yeah, well, who did win? Who won? But yeah, oh my goch, it was amazing. It was just the best experience ever.
Did you watch it back when it came on TV?
Yeah, we went to the Gloucester Old Spot on Kellaway Avenue every week, and lovely Amy, the landlady, would organise it, so she set up the big TV outside, and we had 40, 50 people there every week. Bake Off Club. And all my family and friends, because my family my friends wanted to watch it with me, and I was like, we can't all sit in my house. That's not going to happen. And other people, strangers, would come and watch, and it was great.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was really good, and I'd bake something every week, and so people could sample what I'd made in the tent, and It was just it was a really lovely experience, like really, really fun.
That sounds great, because I guess it would be I always think it would be a bit weird if you were sat on your own watching yourself on TV.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was really nice, like having everyone I loved around me. And especially the special one was like week 6 when I got Star Baker. Everyone just erupted and it was glorious. It was so lovely. It was really cool.
What made you apply? What kind of made you think that
it was real spare of the moment, like random at the end of... It must have been, I think it was like after the semi-final in 2017, like Noel comes on, his voice, do you think you could be on the next series of Bake Off? And I was like, well, not really, but I'll apply. Like literally, I'll just apply. Because so many people had said, you know, your cakes are really good, you should apply. So I sent it off and didn't think anything of it. And then a couple of weeks later, I got all these phone calls from a London number, which I thought was PPI, so I ignored it. And then it turned out to be Bake Off. And I was like, oh my God.
Much better deal.
Much better. And they were like, oh, we were about to give up on you. So it was just, and I just couldn't believe it. The whole way through, I just thought, no way. But I had so much fun during the audition process. And every step I thought, I'm definitely going to apply next year when I don't get in. But then I got in and I was like, oh, okay.
What was the audition process? So what do you have to do before you make it onto TV?
So it's a really long process. You start with the phone call after the application process, which is like...
If they can get through to you.
If they can get through to you. 45-minute phone call, they ask you loads of like technical questions and sort of just find out who you are. And then there's a regional audition, a London audition. You have to go and have a chat with a psychologist. So it's a really long, thorough process. It was about 6 months, I think.
Whoa.
From when I sent it off to when I found out that I got on. So it's a long old process, but they get like 14,000 applications.
Wow.
So, you know, it's no wonder that it takes that long to whittle it down. But yeah, I just had the best time. And like my mum came with me to a lot of the auditions to like support me and we just had such a good time.
Oh, amazing. And so like in the 10, you know, when it's crazy because when you're watching it on TV, people are just, the contestants are just breaking down. Like it seems so stressful. And they seem so like they're going to just fall apart at any minute. It's obviously, as the audience, it's really easy to remove yourself from that and be like, oh my gosh, like calm down, like it's a cake. But when you're there, it must just be so consuming.
It is all consuming. And you feel like you've put your entire life into this cake. And you know, we're logical people, we're reasonable people. We know it's just a cake. But when they slate something that you've spent, because you will have spent weeks and weeks coming up with this recipe, practicing this recipe, like missing out on time with your children to create this recipe, missing out on time with your family, not doing the things that you should be doing, having a really messy house, you sacrifice a lot of stuff for that cake. So when they're saying that they really don't like it, it's not just, oh, they don't like my cake. It's like, oh, that hard work. It's really heartbreaking.
Is it really as like down to the wire as it seems on TV, or is that a bit of editing magic?
No, it really is like that. You'd be amazed what you can do in 1 minute. Like for my Nana Pat, the kaikane that we had to make, which was the Danish celebration. Well, it wasn't a cake, it was loads of Danishes sort of put together. I think I literally had 60 seconds left and I didn't have anything on my thing, but because I'd kind of done a lot of it. So they were like, you've got a minute. And I was like, okay. And I was like, you're just in shock at how much you can do in a minute.
And do they literally cut you off there and then? You don't?
Oh yeah, no, there's no, like, they really tell you off. They're like, put it down. Like, they're so strict. Like, what do you think when Rosie dropped her tart? My stomach just went. It just literally slid off. And oh God, and I just felt every second of it. And I think having been in the tent now, when you see things like that, it's so much more sort of, you really get it in your stomach, like, oh God.
How has life changed for you then since finishing Bake Off?
Life's completely different now. It's very busy, which is great, and I'm not complaining at all. And there's so many opportunities that have come along thanks to Bake Off. I've worked with Asda, writing for their Good Living magazine, writing for the Bristol magazine. Done a lot of charity work over the last year, loads of food festivals, doing live demos, and there's the big thing that's coming up is a TV thing, but I'm not allowed to talk about it openly yet, but really exciting. And it's like, yeah, life's completely different. So I was a teacher before I had Nora, then I'm a stay-at-home mum with Nora, and now since Bake Off's happened, it's like, oh, could this maybe be like a new career, maybe? But it might last 3 years, it might last 10, I don't know. So I'm just going to enjoy absolutely every minute of it while it does.
It's so exciting,
yeah,
isn't it?
It really is,
amazing.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks.
I love hearing about all that TV stuff because I've kind of sat with a few TV editors and film editors before, and I know how they can chop things up to make them look more dramatic than they actually are. But the Bake Off tent sounds pretty on the wire.
I feel like that tent cannot contain the drama. It's mad, yeah. It's really interesting to hear behind the scenes snippets. But while I was hanging out at Briony's, you were talking to Mark, weren't you?
Yes, after his Crumbs hosting duties, I caught up with Mark on all things belly laughs at Caper and Cure, of all places. Welcome, Mark.
Hi.
Mark recently hosted the Crumbs Awards, which were pretty big, I think.
It's my second year of doing it, and I was amazed by the amount of people in the foyer at the beginning of the night. And I also was amazed, and I've done quite a lot of theatres, and I've performed at theatres and done stand-up in theatres, and I've also been to see shows in theatres. And I have never seen a theatre during the interval, the auditorium empty so much and so quickly for everyone then going back to the bar and getting a drink. Like I was in the theatre essentially on my own for 10 minutes when the rowdy bunch at the beginning all vanished outside. And I think the interval was meant to be about 20 minutes, and it was about 35 in the end because they were trying to drag everyone back in.
Like herding cats.
It was definitely like shepherding cats, yes. And it was, but great. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. They were rowdy. They were they were quite drunken and quite chatty.
That's their day off, I suppose.
Well, it's also, 450 people who work in hospitality who are out for the night. So, absolutely.
I saw quite a few tweets in the afternoon of people saying, "We're really sorry, we've closed the kitchen today because we're off to the Crumbs Awards." So I think we're responsible for quite a few disappointed Sunday night revellers.
I saw quite a few tweets from people on the Friday night going, "I've started drinking in preparation for the Crumbs Awards."
How was your hosting duties? How was the crowd for you? Because it's, from where I was looking, rowdy and quite challenging.
Yeah, they definitely. So I had this idea. So I had an idea of what I was going to do, and then literally 2 minutes before going on, Briony May from Bake Off went on and broke a GoPro camera that was on the lectern. And so I decided to change everything. And I thought it'd be really funny to steal that camera from the lectern, go backstage, ask the stage manager if she had some tape, because I had found a hard hat earlier in the evening, and we taped it to my head. And then I went on stage and did and then passed the helmet. You've seen the coverage.
I've seen the footage.
It's not clear. It's not still. It's not a steady cam.
I think we could make a short film if we change it to black and white and send it to Cam.
Make something quite nice about it. Yeah, make something artistic about it.
I missed most of that, unfortunately. I was in a little room with a video camera.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know how people reacted. Were they over the moon to win?
Do you know what? It was a beautiful mixture. Because I was nominated for Belly Laughs and didn't win, and so wept. Who went big? Duchess Media,
of course,
because there was about 19 of them, and I knew Duchess. So they were given a Crumbs Award, which is a big block of wood with artistically designed knife and fork.
Yeah.
And they're also given some gin.
Yes.
And Frankie from Duchess Media was the only person to win who opened the gin on stage.
Good work, Frankie.
So yeah, and frankly, Frankie, rightly so. Who else was really up for it? The Stepping Stone people were amazing. That was absolutely a beautiful moment and just so brilliant.
Mark also is the founder and Crumbs Award nominated event Belly Laughs, which is a fantastic series of stand-up comedy events in some unusual venues, let's say. Mark, why don't you tell us a bit about it?
So we were nominated for Best Initiative this year, I'm thinking next year I'm going to try and get nominated in Best Events, because I reckon I might win.
Yeah.
I reckon initiative, we've been beaten by the amazing Fair Share, the amazing Stepping Stone, and frankly, although I love Belly Laughs, I'm like, how can you not give it to those people? They're and I'm working with Fair Share in November, and also hoping to work with Stepping Stone. They were saying their phase 2 is to get a venue, and so we'll try and put Belly Laughs in there. And Belly Laughs is basically you run a restaurant, you run a cafe, you run a space. In January, if your space is quiet, and most spaces are quiet in January, we'll put in a pop-up comedy night where people pay their money for the comedy, and that goes straight to a homeless shelter. In Bristol, that's the Julian Trust. And then the restaurant, the venue themselves, get the money for the food. So it's as straightforward as that. Whenever I go to places and tell them about it, I'm telling them what we do and how we do it. I'm always waiting at the end for someone to go, what's the catch? Or go, what? And this will cost us how much? And I'm like, no, free. We just do it because it's quiet in January, innit? And I want these amazing small businesses and big businesses, but everyone in hospitality suffers a little bit in January. So I've got this thing, the ability to talk, and friends who can talk, and stand-ups, and so we do that. And this will be the third year, 2020, but weirdly, I only came up with the idea less than 2 years ago, because I came up with the idea in December 2017 and did the first gig 2 weeks later. So it's not been around for ages and ages, even though we're going into year 3 of the event. So
nice surprise of mix of comedians you have as well. Obviously you get some big names in for some of the gigs, which is fantastic, but also the guys that are just coming up or earlier on in their careers, they're absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I try and mix it up massively, and I'm really lucky that I've already got people who want to come and do stuff, and talking to newer comics who still haven't done it, but also some of my more sort of famous friends, and especially Bristol connected famous friends who haven't done it yet, who will probably be coming and doing a couple more this year.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for talking us through Belly Laughs, Mark. And I can't wait till next year. I'm normally sat by my phone booking all of the good ones up, and then some more after that. So I'm sure we'll see you at a lot of them.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Crumbs Magazine podcast.
We'd love to hear what you'd like covered in the next episode. Tweet us your ideas at Crumbs Mag. Bye.